Welcome back to our series on these amazing, beautiful wall calendars. In this video, I want to talk about how you can use just 1 month at a time to create what I call a family communication center. All right, now, before I jump into that, what do I mean by a family communication center? Well, if you have multiple people in your house and you're juggling all sorts of schedules around who's driving who to what practice, who's picking up who from school, is there an evening event? Is it a day where, maybe a member of your family is on travel for work, right? Things that we just need to be in sync on so that one person in your home doesn't feel like they are constantly having to tell everybody all the time what's going on. This is why I love family communication centers. It empowers everyone to have the information that they need. Now, when it comes to creating a family communication center, I really want to, and we'll get into this more when I kind of talk through how I use these for it. Less is more, meaning a family communication center is not a place for everybody to write down every single detail of their day. For instance, I had time on my calendar today to record this video. That didn't go on my family communication center. It's during my normal work time. My daughter's off at school. No one needs to know that, right? But if I am going on a trip for 2 days, that needs to be front of everyone's mind that I'm not here, right? So that's what I mean when I say less is more. We really want to make sure, this is one of the big failures I see in family communication centers, is people put their entire personal, as a, like their personal planner into the family communication center, and there's too much information that's not relevant. So I'm always thinking about, is there something that another member of my family needs to be aware of, or is it something that involves multiple people? That's what belongs on a family communication center. And I'll give you some examples here in just a minute. Now, the second thing to consider with the family communication center is, where is it located in your house? Now, everyone's instinct oftentimes is to put it in, like, if you have a mudroom or wherever everybody's immediately walking into the house after getting out of the car. And I really discourage this, and I want to tell you why. Think about, let's say you've just picked kids up from school or practice, and everyone's coming in the house. What frame of mind are they in, right? They're not thinking about a calendar. They're just like getting in, dumping their stuff, moving on, right? It's not an area where people are going to ponder or stop and go, oh yeah, let me go look at what's going on. I like for people to create a space for their family communication center that's highly visible, but in a space where people aren't hurried, right? If it's right at the door leaving, people are going to be rushing in and out. They're not going to be looking at it. So one of the areas where we put our family communication center is on the side of our refrigerator, because it's right there next to the snacks and the coffee, right? So if I'm making coffee in the morning, it's right there. I'm in a calm place and I can get a quick reminder of what's going on. If my kid needs to come in, grab a snack, she can easily see it. And it's not at the place that you're running, back and forth. So you really want to make sure you're thinking about a strategic location for your family communication center. Now, we're going to go ahead and shift gears here, and I'm going to take you over to a little corner, which is 1 month, so we can zoom in on that to really talk about how to use these wall calendars in a very unique way for a family communication center. Because even though each calendar block is a whole month, I'm going to show you how you do this for just a week at a time. I highly encourage family communication centers to be weekly instead of monthly, and we're going to get into that here in just a second. So let's pop on over. All right, I've already talked about the importance of the location for your family communication center. I'm just tucked in a corner in my office because I wanted to be able to put just one of these up at a time to kind of talk through this. This is not where I would be putting my family communication center. Now, there's a really cool thing that you can do with this monthed view, all right, when it relates to your family communication center. And it's actually kind of, changing up the original intent of this. I've kind of already covered the fact that I really like weekly family communication centers, because if you're putting a whole month of information up, especially if you have a larger family, this is going to get so noisy so quick that people just aren't going to be able to find what they need. And it gets hard to figure out color coding, etc. So I really love family communication centers to be 1 week at a time. So what does that mean here? Well, what you can do, now keep in mind, we've got 6 rows here, right? I like to assign, I encourage people to pick 1 row per family member, all right? So this could be my row, this could be my husband's row, my daughter's row, right? And if your family, if you have multiple children here. Now, also, you may be in a caregiver capacity where you are caregiving for maybe a parent, right? So you could have a row for them as well. Each family member gets a row. So that's how we're just using this for the week. Now, each family member is also going to have their own unique color. Now, you can use the Post-it notes, or each family member can just have their own chalk pen. Remember, you need to use chalk pens to be able to erase these so that you can just keep reusing it week over week. Now, do you have to have each family member with their own color? You don't, but I just think it's easier to see if you know what your color is. It's going to be a lot easier to just see your row. Now, once you establish the row, maintain that week after week. Don't go like, hey, this week I'm on this row, but next week I'm down here, because then it gets hard for our brains to find what we're looking for. Now, what this means is that then if this is my row, what I'm putting in my family communication center is any information that impacts other people in the household that they need to know about. I'm not putting in my entire work schedule here. I do that in my daily planner. But what I can do on here, and what I do is my husband and I alternate who's doing school driving. So if it's a morning where I'm doing the morning drive, I can write in here, drive to school Monday, drive to school Friday. Then on my husband's row, he could have in drive to school, right? Now, if this were my daughter's row, we don't need to write down drive. She knows she's going to school, right? But this is a way for my husband and I to communicate who's doing which. Let's take the example of maybe you have a music lesson on a Tuesday afternoon for one of your children. So if this is your child's row, on that Tuesday could be written down, piano lesson or violin lesson or drum lesson, whatever the case may be. And then whichever parent is doing the driving for that will also have it on their row. All right, so if I'm driving to piano lesson, let's say, my daughter would have piano lesson in here on Tuesday, and on my Tuesday block, I'd have drive to piano lesson. So again, the information that's going in on your family communication center are the things that your family needs to be in sync on. And it's a great way to communicate kind of who's involved. Because if you see it on the, my mom row and then my daughter's row, she's going, oh yeah, mom's taking me for that. Right now, if there's information that my family needs to know about my schedule because it's out of the norm and it impacts them, I'm also going to include that. For example, we're all usually home in the evening, but occasionally I go do events in the evening, or maybe I'm going out to even have dinner with my sister, right? So if that's out of the norm, I might write down on Thursday night, mom out to dinner. And everybody can see what's going on, and I'm really only putting the stuff on here that impacts multiple people. And this is a great way for your whole family to stay in sync. And because it's only 1 week and it's being erased and redone every single week, it means the information is fresh and people aren't just looking, we start to just stop looking at things if it's the same thing. And this is why if you were trying to put all of that into 1 month, it could get really, really messy really quickly. Now, if you're in a household where there's just 2 people, you might prefer a month at a view for your family communication center. But if you've got multiple kids and you're juggling, who's doing what, who's involved in what activity, this is where I really love this idea of 1 person per row that allows you to communicate that. Now, another great thing that you can do with this is up along the top. You could also use this as a place to jot down any meal plans, right? So if you are sick of the every morning, what's for dinner, you can pre-plan out. We do this every Sunday, kind of decide what dinners are we having for the upcoming week, and then plug it in, write it in at the top. What's for dinner each night? So if anyone says what's for dinner, you could say, go look at the Family Communication Center, right? So I love using this in this really unique way where each family member gets a row. And it's a really powerful way to keep everybody in sync on the things that you as a family all need to be aware of.